Right now, your life is responding to a set of quiet agreements you made long ago about love, safety, worthiness, and what's possible for you. And I want you to feel something with me before we go any further. Not think about it. Feel it. Because the part of you that changes isn't the part that collects information. It's the part that finally feels safe enough to believe a new truth. Take a slow breath in and let it out like you're setting something heavy down. You've been carrying ideas you didn't choose on purpose, ideas you absorbed in 1,000 ordinary moments. A look on someone's face when you asked for too much, a comment that landed in your chest and stayed there, a pattern you watched in your home and quietly decided, that must be how life works. You didn't do anything wrong. You were learning. You were adapting. You were trying to belong, to be loved, to be safe. And now, you're ready to make new agreements. Because the most beautiful thing about you is this: you are not trapped inside yesterday's conclusions. You are here, you are awake, and you are allowed to change your mind about yourself. When people say, "I changed my beliefs and my reality changed overnight," it can sound dramatic, like magic, like something only special people can do. But what they're often describing is something deeply human. A shift happens inside, sometimes quietly, sometimes suddenly, and the next morning feels different. Not because the whole world rearranged itself in a single night, but because you did. You woke up with a different inner atmosphere. You looked through different eyes. You moved through the same day with a softer grip, a steadier heart, a new willingness to receive. And life responds to that. Life always responds to that. So let's talk about how this really works in a way that feels simple and kind and real. And then I'm going to guide you through a practice that you can do right now, one that begins the shift immediately, the way a new seed begins to change the soil the moment it's planted. You don't have to force anything tonight. You don't have to perform transformation. You don't have to do it perfectly. You're allowed to be human. You're allowed to be in progress, and you're still worthy of change. Most beliefs don't shout at you. They whisper through your habits, your expectations, and the stories you automatically believe. A belief is not just a sentence in your mind. It's a lens. And you can tell what lens you're wearing by noticing what you expect. Do you expect things to work out or to fall apart? Do you expect people to support you or to disappoint you? Do you expect love to be safe or to cost you something? Do you expect abundance to be available or always just out of reach? You might not say these things out loud. You might not even know you're thinking them, but your body knows what you believe. Your nervous system knows. Your choices know. Your calendar knows. Your relationships know. Because beliefs create patterns, and patterns create outcomes. And then we look at the outcomes and we say, "See, that's proof." But it was never proof of what you deserve. Say, "I release the need to prove my worth." Or if that doesn't fit, choose one of these. "I release the need to struggle for what is meant for me." I release the belief that I must suffer to be loved. I release the belief that I am alone. I release the belief that good things cannot last. Choose one and let it be gentle. You're not ripping anything out. You're letting it loosen, like untying a knot slowly. Now imagine that the old belief, whatever it was, becomes like a coat you've been wearing for too long. Maybe it kept you warm once. Maybe it protected you from something. But now it's heavy. It doesn't fit. It restricts your movement. So you take it off, not with anger, with gratitude. You say, "Thank you for what you tried to do," and you set it down. And notice how your body feels without it. A little lighter, a little more free, a little more you. Now let's talk about what you may notice after this, because this is how you stay encouraged without becoming impatient. In the coming days, you might notice your thoughts shifting before your life does. That's normal. You might notice you're less reactive. You might notice you pause before spiraling. You might notice you feel more spacious. You might notice you make different choices without forcing yourself. You might notice you stop chasing certain people. You might notice you suddenly want to clean your space, drink more water, go to bed earlier, move your body gently. These are signs your energy is reorganizing. And sometimes you might notice discomfort, not because you're doing it wrong, but because your system is adjusting. When you change beliefs, you change patterns, and patterns can feel like identity. So you might have moments where your mind says, "Who do you think you are?" And you can answer softly, "I am someone who is healing. I am someone who is allowed to grow. I am someone who is choosing new possibilities." You don't have to argue. You just return to truth. Let me offer one more scenario, because I want you to recognize this one when it happens. Perhaps you begin to shift, and suddenly old situations show up again. An old type of person, an old temptation, an old pattern. You might think, "See, nothing changed." But what's really happening is life giving you a chance to respond differently. It's like a final exam, not a punishment. And if you respond differently, if you set the boundary, if you choose yourself, if you stay steady, then you've graduated. This is how a new reality stabilizes, through different responses, through new self-respect, through consistent inner agreements. Now let's make this practical in a way you can carry with you. I'm going to give you a simple nighttime ritual that supports belief change. You can do it in 2 minutes. You can do it in 10. You can do it lying in bed. First, place a hand on your heart and take 3 slow breaths. Second, name the old belief gently. Just acknowledge it. For example, part of me believes I'm not enough. Third, speak the new belief like a loving truth you're learning. For example, I am learning to see my worth, and I am open to being supported. Fourth, imagine one small scene of tomorrow where you live from the new belief. Just one. Fifth, end with a simple blessing. May I be guided. May I be protected. May I be open to good. And then let yourself sleep. You are not trying to control the night. You're simply planting. and planting is powerful. Now, if you're listening to this and you feel resistance, I want to speak to you directly. Resistance doesn't mean you can't change. Resistance means you've been hurt. Resistance means part of you is afraid to hope, and that part deserves tenderness, not pressure. You can tell that part. You don't have to rush. You don't have to trust everything at once. We're just taking one step. We're just opening one window, and then you keep going, one gentle step at a time. Because your reality doesn't change from one huge leap. It changes from repeated small choices that come from a new belief, and those choices compound, like drops of water that eventually carve a new path through stone. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You are becoming. And you are allowed to become in a way that feels safe. Now I want to offer you a final set of affirmations, soft, steady, and true, so you can end this practice feeling held and empowered. Let the words wash through you. Take what you need. Leave what you don't. I am willing to release what no longer fits me. I honor who I was, and I choose who I am becoming. I am learning to trust myself again. I am open to seeing evidence of support. I am open to new outcomes. I am allowed to receive love in a way that feels safe. I am allowed to have peace. I am allowed to be seen. I am allowed to take up space. I am worthy of good experiences. I am worthy of gentle change. I do not have to force my life to transform. I only have to align with the truth, one breath at a time. And now, take a breath in and let it out slowly. Feel your body here. Feel the surface beneath you. Feel the quiet power of a new agreement taking root. Even if your outer world looks the same right now, your inner world is not the same. And when your inner world changes, your outer world eventually follows. Not because you demanded it, but because you became ready to receive it. So tonight, when you lay down, let yourself imagine a new morning. Not a perfect morning, a softer one, a steadier one. A morning where you wake up and you feel even a little more on your own side. That is the beginning of everything. And I want you to remember this. You are not here to repeat the same story until the end of time. You are here to grow. You are here to wake up. You are here to love yourself back into wholeness. And you are doing it right now with this breath, with this willingness, with this gentle, powerful choice. May you sleep in peace when you're ready. May your heart feel safe. May your mind soften. And may you begin to notice little by little that life can meet you differently when you meet yourself with love. It was proof of what you've been expecting. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine you're wearing tinted glasses, just slightly dark, not enough to notice at first. You walk outside and the world seems a little dim, not terrible, just muted. So you start acting like it's a dim world. You don't stay out as long. You don't plan as much. You don't open the curtains as wide. And then one day you say, I guess life is just kind of dim. But what if life isn't dim? What if it's your lens? Beliefs are like that, quiet lenses. And when you've worn them for a long time, they feel like reality itself. They feel like the way things are. They feel like facts. And yet, you and I both know that two people can live in the same city, the same year, even the same household, and experience completely different worlds. One sees opportunity everywhere. One sees danger everywhere. One feels supported. One feels alone. One expects a door to open. One expects the door to slam. Same world, different lens. And the lens can be changed. This is not about blaming yourself for what you've experienced. Please hear me. This is not about saying you created everything that happened to you. Some things happened that you never should have had to carry. Some things happened that weren't fair. Some things happened because other people were in pain and they didn't know how to love. This is not about blame. This is about power. It's about remembering that even if you didn't choose the original belief, you can choose a new one now. Sometimes change looks like a sudden miracle, when really it's the moment your inner world finally stops resisting your own good. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you can work and work and work towards something, and it feels like nothing is moving? And then one day, something clicks. You say something different. You decide something different. You stop settling. You stop pleading. You stop shrinking. And suddenly, movement appears. A message arrives. An opportunity shows up. A conversation shifts. Your energy feels lighter. You take an action that used to terrify you and it feels possible. It can feel overnight. But what's happening is that your inner door opened. And life loves an open door. Think of it like this. If you've been holding your breath for a long time, the room hasn't changed, but you have. The moment you exhale, your body gets oxygen again. Relief floods your system. Your vision clears. Your shoulders drop. The world looks different because you're no longer in survival mode. So many people are trying to manifest with clenched fists and held breath. They're trying to receive while their body is braced for disappointment. They're saying, I want change, while a deeper part whispers, change isn't safe. And I want you to know something tender and true. It makes sense. If change once meant loss, instability, criticism, abandonment, or pressure, your subconscious learned to protect you from it. It said, no thank you. We're staying with what we know. Even if what you know is painful, especially if what you know is familiar, your subconscious is not your enemy. It's like an old guardian who learned a few rigid rules and has been following them faithfully. And now you're going to lovingly update those rules. A belief becomes a filter becomes a pattern, and a pattern becomes the life you keep bumping into. Let's make this simple. you have a belief. That belief quietly tells you what to focus on, what to notice, what to interpret as dangerous or promising, what to accept, what to reject. So your attention narrows around what matches the belief, and your body responds. If you believe people can't be trusted, your body tightens around people. You scan for betrayal. You notice small signals and read them as proof. You keep emotional distance. You protect yourself by not fully receiving. If you believe you're not good enough, you notice every flaw. You minimize compliments. You overwork to earn love. You apologize for existing. You say yes when you mean no. And then you feel exhausted, unseen, and resentful. Proof, again, that you're too much or not enough. If you believe money is hard to come by, you feel anxious about spending. You underprice yourself. You avoid looking at numbers. You assume lack. And you unconsciously make choices from fear that keep you small. Do you see how gentle and mechanical this is? Belief filter emotion, behavior, outcome. Then the outcome circles back and strengthens the belief. This isn't a punishment, it's a loop. And loops can be interrupted. This is where your power lives, not in forcing the outside world, but in changing the inner instructions. Because reality responds to your instructions, not because the universe is a vending machine, but because you move differently when you believe differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. You allow differently. And people respond to that. Opportunities respond to that. Your own intuition responds to that. It's like tuning a radio. The station was always there. You simply adjust the frequency until you can hear it clearly. When something keeps repeating, it's often not because you're broken. It's because an old belief is trying to protect you in the only way it knows. Let's talk about the repeating patterns. The ones that make you sigh. The ones that make you say, "Why does this always happen?" Maybe it's relationships where you give more than you receive. Maybe it's jobs where you feel undervalued. Maybe it's starting strong and then losing momentum. Maybe it's feeling inspired one day and empty the next. Maybe it's attracting people who need rescuing. Maybe it's almost there, and then something collapses. When patterns repeat, there is usually a belief underneath that sounds like one of these. It's not safe to be seen. If I relax, something will go wrong. I have to earn love. I'm responsible for everyone. I'll be abandoned if I speak up. I'm too much. I'm not enough. Good things don't last. People leave. I can't have what I want. Life is hard. And I want you to be very kind with yourself here, because these beliefs often begin as survival strategies. Maybe you learned, "I have to earn love," because praise only came when you achieved. Maybe you learned, "It's not safe to be seen," because attention came with criticism, jealousy, or control. Maybe you learned, "Good things don't last," because joy was followed by chaos. Maybe you learned, "I'm responsible for everyone," because you had to be the stable one. A belief can be born in a moment where your younger self said, "Okay, this is how I stay safe." And that younger self deserves so much compassion. So instead of being angry at your beliefs, you can say, "Thank you for trying to protect me," and "We're choosing something new now." That's how change lasts, not through violence toward yourself, but through love. You don't change a belief by fighting it. You change it by meeting it with truth, safety, and repetition that your nervous system can trust. So many people try to bulldoze themselves into a new reality. They shout affirmations like they're trying to win an argument. And if that works for you, wonderful. But for most sensitive hearts, force creates resistance. Your subconscious doesn't respond well to being bullied. It responds to being soothed and convinced. It responds to feeling safe. Think of a frightened animal. You don't chase it yelling, "Come here, trust me." You soften your voice. You move slowly. You offer consistency. You let trust build. Your inner world is the same. So we're going to use a method that is both gentle and powerful. It has 3 parts. First, we notice the old belief without shame. Second, we offer a new belief that feels believable, like a bridge, not a cliff. Third, we repeat it with feeling so it becomes familiar. Because familiarity is what the subconscious often confuses with truth. If you've practiced a belief for 10 years, it feels true. So we practice a new belief until it feels true too. And while we're doing this, we're not pretending bad things never happen. We're not denying reality. We're choosing an inner posture that opens your life instead of closing it. Now, I'm going to guide you through a practice. You can do it with your eyes open or closed. If you're lying down, let your body soften. If you're sitting, let your shoulders drop. You're not striving right now. You're allowing. Choose one painful pattern you're ready to soften, and we're going to follow it back to the belief that's been holding the steering wheel. Bring to mind one thing that feels stuck. Not your whole life, just one area. Maybe it's love, maybe it's work, maybe it's self-worth, maybe it's peace, maybe it's your ability to trust yourself. Pick one. And as you hold it gently in your awareness, notice what you feel in your body. Is there tightness, a heaviness, a buzzing, a pressure? You don't need to analyze it, just notice it. Now imagine that feeling has a voice. If that feeling could speak in a simple sentence, what would it say? It might say, "I'm tired." It might say, "I'm scared." It might say, "It won't work." It might say, "I'm alone." It might say, "I don't deserve it." It might say, "I don't know how." Whatever comes, let it come without judgment. And now, I want you to go one layer deeper. Behind that sentence, there is often an older belief, a bigger conclusion. Ask gently inside, what would I have to believe for this to feel true? And listen, you might hear something like, "I always get hurt." "I'm not chosen." "I'll fail." I'm not safe. I don't matter. I'll be too much. I'll be rejected. I can't trust myself. Just let something arise. If nothing comes right away, that's okay. You are allowed to take your time. Sometimes the subconscious opens slowly, like a flower in the morning. It doesn't respond to rushing. Now, I want you to picture the version of you who first learned this belief. Not to relive pain, only to offer love. Maybe it's a child. Maybe it's a teenager. Maybe it's you in a past relationship, a past job, a moment of disappointment. See that version of you and notice their face. And I want you to say to them softly inside, I understand why you believed that. You were doing your best. You were trying to stay safe. And I'm here now. Let that land. Because when you honor the origin, the belief softens. Now we're going to choose a new belief, not one that feels fake, a bridge belief, a belief that your system can begin to accept. For example, if the old belief is, I'm not good enough, a bridge belief might be, I'm learning to see my worth, or I'm willing to believe I'm enough, or I don't have to prove my worth to deserve love. If the old belief is, people always leave, a bridge belief might be, I'm learning to trust that support can be steady, or I am open to relationships that feel safe and consistent. If the old belief is, I can't have what I want, a bridge belief might be, it's possible for me to receive more than I've received before, or I'm open to unexpected ways life can meet me. Do you feel the difference? We're not forcing certainty. We're opening G.A. door. So choose one new belief that feels like a gentle step. And now, we're going to install it the way the subconscious learns, through repetition and feeling. Place a hand over your heart if that feels comfortable. Take a slow breath and say your new belief inside, slowly, then again and again. And as you repeat it, don't just say the words. Imagine the feeling of it being true. What would your shoulders do if it were true? What would your breath do? What would your eyes do? Would you soften your jaw? Would your stomach unclench? Even if it's small, let your body taste the new reality. This is important. Your subconscious believes what it repeatedly experiences, not what it hears once. So give it an experience. Now I want to guide you through a few moments where you attach this new belief to real life. Imagine tomorrow morning. You wake up and the old pattern tries to greet you the way it always does. Maybe it's worry. Maybe it's self-criticism. Maybe it's that familiar heaviness. And now imagine you notice it without obeying it. You say, oh, there you are. And you place a gentle hand on yourself, literally or energetically, and you repeat your new belief. Not like a battle cry, like a lullaby. You let it settle. And then you choose one small action from the new belief. If your new belief is about worthiness, maybe you speak a little more kindly to yourself while you get ready. If it's about receiving, maybe you allow a compliment to land without deflecting it. If it's about safety, maybe you slow down and let your body feel the ground beneath you. If it's about abundance, maybe you treat your gifts with respect, your time, your talents, your energy. One small action. And that one small action begins a new pattern. Now imagine you go through your day. Someone says something that would usually trigger you. Maybe a message comes late. Maybe someone's tone feels off. Maybe you don't get immediate reassurance. The old belief rises. See, I'm not safe. Or, see, I'm not valued. Or, see, it's happening again. And this time, you pause, you breathe, you remember your new agreement, and you choose a response that matches the new belief. Maybe you ask a clear question instead of assuming. Maybe you soothe your body instead of spiraling. Maybe you set a boundary instead of over-explaining. Maybe you take a break instead of pushing yourself harder. This is where reality starts to change. Not because you manipulated the world, but because you stopped handing the steering wheel to the old story. And you are allowed to do that. You are allowed to outgrow the belief. Now I want you to add one more layer, because this is where people truly feel that overnight shift. Tonight, before sleep, your subconscious will be listening more deeply. It listens when you are relaxed. It listens when the day quiets down. So we're going to create a simple nighttime imprint. If you're listening to this in the evening, let it be easy. If you're listening during the day, you can still do this as a practice. I want you to imagine your mind like a garden at dusk. All day, thoughts have been moving like wind through leaves, some gentle, some sharp, some old familiar gusts that shake the same branches. Now evening comes. The garden becomes still, and this is when you choose what you want to plant. Your new belief is a seed. So as you breathe, imagine placing that seed into the soil of your subconscious. You don't have to dig with effort. The soil is receptive. Place it there, and now cover it with warmth. Imagine a soft light, maybe golden, maybe warm white, resting over your chest, your throat, your forehead. This light isn't here to force you to change. It's here to remind you that you are safe while you change. Because safety is what allows transformation to be permanent. Now repeat your new belief again, slowly. Let each word be like water. Let it sink in. And while you repeat it, I want you to bring in a memory, just one, of a time you felt even a hint of this belief. If the belief is, I am learning to see my worth, Remember a moment you did something you were proud of, even if no one applauded. If the belief is I am open to steady support, remember a moment someone showed up, even in a small way. If the belief is it's possible for me to receive more, remember a time something worked out unexpectedly. We're not trying to prove your new belief with dramatic evidence. We're simply giving your subconscious a reference point, because your mind loves references. And now let's weave in a few gentle affirmations that support almost any belief shift. Say them softly inside, and let them be true in the way a sunrise is true, quietly, naturally, without strain. I am willing to see myself with kinder eyes. I am allowed to change my mind about my life. I am learning to feel safe in new possibilities. I do not have to repeat the past to honor what I survived. I can be loyal to my healing, not my history. Feel those words and notice if your body responds. Maybe your breath becomes deeper. Maybe your chest softens. Maybe tears come. If they do, let them. Tears are not weakness. They are release. They are your body letting go of what it no longer needs to hold. Now, I want to offer you a few scenarios, little mirrors, so you can recognize how these belief shifts show up in real life. Because sometimes we miss our own transformation. It can be so subtle that you don't call it change, even though it is. Perhaps you've experienced this. You wake up and the first thing your mind does is scan for what's wrong. You reach for your phone and your chest tightens before you even read anything. You might have thought, that's just how mornings are. That's just me. But what's really happening is that your nervous system learned to start the day in defense. It learned that vigilance equals safety. And when you begin shifting your beliefs, you might notice a morning where you don't reach for the phone right away. You breathe first, you stretch, you let your mind arrive gently. That's not small. That's a new reality beginning. Or perhaps you've experienced this. Someone doesn't respond to you immediately, and your mind starts building a story. You replay your message. You interpret silence as ejection. You feel that familiar drop in your stomach. You might have thought, I'm just sensitive. But what's really happening is that an old belief about being abandoned is trying to protect you by predicting pain before it happens. And when you shift, you might notice that you can sit in the silence without collapsing. You tell yourself, I don't have to assume the worst. You stay steady. That steadiness changes everything. It changes how you show up. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you attract. Or maybe this one. You receive a compliment and something in you rejects it. You laugh it off. You change the subject. You say, oh, it was nothing. You might have thought, I don't want to seem arrogant. But what's really happening is that your system learned it wasn't safe to shine. Maybe praise was followed by jealousy. Maybe being seen brought pressure. Maybe you learned to stay small so you wouldn't be targeted. And when you change your beliefs, you might notice that you can let the compliment land. You might even say, thank you, and you mean it. That moment is a doorway. Because receiving is a spiritual practice. Allowing is a spiritual practice. And you are allowed, or perhaps you've experienced this. You set a goal and you feel inspired for a few days, and then you sabotage it. You procrastinate, you pick fights, you suddenly lose interest. You find reasons it won't work. You might have thought, I have no discipline. But what's really happening is that a belief about success being unsafe is pulling you back, because success can mean visibility, and visibility can mean judgment, and judgment can mean pain. So your subconscious says, let's not go there. And when you shift, you might notice that you can keep going even when the excitement fades. You move with steadiness instead of drama. You stop waiting for motivation and start practicing trust. That is a new identity forming. And identity is what shapes reality. Now I want to deepen something very important. You do not have to wait for the outside world to prove your new belief before you live it. So many people say, I'll believe I'm worthy when someone chooses me. I'll believe I'm safe when everything is stable. I'll believe life can support me when I see proof. But this creates a trap, because the outside world often reflects your inner stance. Not always immediately, not always perfectly, but often. So if you wait for proof, you keep holding the old stance, and then you keep receiving old evidence. The shift happens when you decide, I am willing to believe differently now, even before the evidence is loud, even before the change is dramatic, even when it's just a quiet inner yes. That yes is powerful. That yes is the moment the wheel turns. Now let's speak to the word overnight, because I want to keep it honest and beautiful. You are not being asked to demand instant results from life. You are being invited to create an overnight shift inside you, the kind of shift where you go to bed carrying one story and you wake up with a softer one. You go to bed braced and you wake up more open. You go to bed trying to control everything and you wake up more trusting. You go to bed in self-criticism and you wake up with gentler eyes. And when you shift like that, reality begins to reorganize around you, because you are no longer broadcasting the same inner message. People feel it. You feel it. Your choices reflect it. And slowly, steadily, beautifully, the outer world catches up. So how do you support this process tonight and in the coming days? Here are a few simple practices you can weave into your life without making it another burden. First, notice your automatic no. The automatic no is the inner reflex that shuts down possibility. I can't. It won't work. It's too late. That's for other people. That's not realistic. When you hear it, don't scold yourself. Just notice it, like you'd notice a cloud passing, and then offer a bridge sentence. Not, yes, I can do anything, if that feels fake. But something gentle, like, I'm open to a new way. I'm willing to learn. It's possible there's more available than I've seen. I don't know how yet, and that's okay. This keeps the door open, and open doors invite new outcomes. Second, speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love, because your inner voice is not just commentary, it's programming. If your inner voice is harsh, your system stays in defense, and defense blocks receiving. So if you catch yourself being cruel inside, pause and ask, what would love say right now? Love might say, you're doing your best. You're allowed to rest. You're still worthy. You don't need to punish yourself to grow. And when you speak to yourself with love, your body relaxes. And when your body relaxes, your mind becomes more flexible. And when your mind becomes flexible, beliefs can change. Third, treat repetition as devotion, not as struggle. Belief change requires repetition, but repetition doesn't have to be exhausting. It can be like brushing your teeth, like watering a plant, like lighting a candle each night. A simple, steady act. Each day, choose one belief sentence and repeat it gently, especially when you don't feel it. Because you're not repeating it to describe the present. You're repeating it to create a new present. And please remember, if your old belief argues back, that doesn't mean the new belief isn't working. It means the old belief is still trying to keep its job. You can say, I hear you, and we're choosing something new. Now, I want to guide you into a deeper installation, because this is where your whole being begins to align. Your subconscious learns through pictures, emotion, and repetition. So we'll use all three. Close your eyes if it feels safe, or soften your gaze. Take a breath in through the nose and out slowly. Imagine a version of you living from the new belief. Not a perfect version, a real one. If your new belief is about worthiness, imagine you walking into a room without shrinking, not performing, just being. If your new belief is about support, imagine you letting someone help you without fee, feeling guilty. If your new belief is about safety, imagine you making a decision without dread. If your new belief is about receiving, imagine you saying yes to something good without immediately looking for the catch. See it simply. Now notice what that version of you feels like in the body. Is there a steadiness? Is there a warmth? Is there a calm openness? And if it feels unfamiliar, that's okay. You're allowed to practice unfamiliar feelings. That's how they become home. Now I want you to imagine that feeling as a gentle light in your chest. Not a dramatic beam, just a soft glow. With each breath, it grows slightly brighter, and as it grows, it sends a message to every part of you. It is safe to change. It is safe to receive. It is safe to be you. Let that message travel into your shoulders, your throat, your belly, your hips, your legs. Let it reach the parts of you that have been bracing for years. And now repeat your new belief again, slowly, like you're writing it into your cells. And I want you to add one more affirmation, one that seals this practice,